Hey everybody, welcome back to Bunny Data and the We Like Dota Community Night. Tonight we've got a special treat for you. We have a couple of co-casters. This is the first time we've done a three-man job here. It should be pretty awesome. We have Pretty Bunnies on the line. Pretty Bunnies, would you like to say hello?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
I'm back. Did I miss anything?
No, you just missed the
Oh,
intro.
okay. Sweet, yes.
And
Okay.
Tugs is back.
Yes, and also joining us tonight is TugzMcBoat.
No,
Tugs. Okay, well, technically he is. Tugs, would you like to say hello to our audience?
nah, not really.
Well, too bad. You have to say hello. Be social.
That's gonna make things awkward. Hello.
It's already awkward. Yay, we're doing We Like Dota proud.
So we've got some pretty normal bands coming out with the Troll and the Sniper. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to play against them anymore.
No, not really. So,
I, for one, think it's a shame because I think they're great, but they're a little overrated and fairly easily countered
Disruptor.
if you let them pick them out.
like, so the way that I look at it is, like, if you're picking someone like Troll, the burden is on the team, not with Troll. Like, it's really easy for Troll to do Troll things, and for him to not mess up. Whereas the team against Troll, like, you can crowd control him well enough, but if you're the ones making mistakes, then you're gonna get punished for it. So I guess it's easier to play with Troll than it is to play against Troll, even though he is manageable. So that's why I think it's better just to ban him out. Like, it can't really be saying the same can't be said with the hero like Storm, because Storm can mess himself up. Like, you can overcommit, you can burn a lot of your mana, you can get caught out, you don't have, if you get silenced, you don't have a reliable escape. Like, those kind of scenarios don't really exist with Troll.
That's true. Along with that, Storm, however, is one of those heroes similar to a puck. If once you get going with him, you're near impossible to stop.
True, fair enough.
So I can definitely understand banning that out.
But,
And
like,
he would absolutely crush the Disruptor and Crystal Maiden.
Sure. Like, you can deal, though, like a Storm or a Puck, like, you can deal with those heroes late game. You buy BKBs, you know, they can only do so much damage, over a certain period of time. Like, if a Troll gets a BKB, he team wipes you. So
Yes. So both teams are banning out a lot of physical damage. The Storm Spirit being the only real heavy magical damage, but I don't really see a lineup that warrants it yet. Granted, everything that's been picked thus far is squishy.
Yeah, that being the case, I would kind of like to see a Zeus in this game.
Zeus is always
good.
fun.
he sees some play. I think he actually hasn't done too bad. I've seen him a couple times as an offlaner. It's not as bad as people think. You just buy yourself a lot of like 3 or 4 clarity potions and try to get a bottle and contest for whatever rune side you're on, and you stand back and you just spam your arc lightning for last hit, and there we go.
Look at that. There we go. We've got a Zeus.
Good call.
Yay, we called it.
Whether or not they play him mid or not will be
Silencer.
And there's the Zeus counter.
Centaur War Runner.
Well, with the Crystal Maiden and Disruptor combo, you get a good kinetic field, and then alt from Disruptor. Crystal Maiden's got the capability of dropping her freezing field on top, and that would just devastate. So the silencer really is going to help prevent that as well.
And it's a global team fight disable. Like, that's the most important part. He shouldn't at no point in time during this game, unless they're playing him as a core, which I don't think they should he ever be like visible. I say that kind of jokingly, but like, yes, it'll be the Radiant's job to make sure he's the one that gets initiated on, and it'll be the Dire's job to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, we've got a little bit more of a balanced lineup coming out of the Dire side with that Sven pickup. The Radiant is still fairly squishy. I mean, they do have the Centaur with that great strength gain.
Reserve time.
But if they're relying on him,
Yeah, I don't really like the synergy coming out of Dire. I just don't. I don't know. I find their team fight like a little lacking. So like the Vengeful Spirit, if she's trying to do a defensive swap, she's gonna swap in on Sven. Well, Sven's gonna have a really hard time trying to re-engage into the team fight, because his blink dagger will most likely go on some sort of cooldown. So it'll take him 3 seconds to get back in it, or he'll have already popped his ultimate, in which case he's still running to get back into the fights. In the meantime, there's no really like sort of heavy lockdown. They've got the Lion who's got some decent crowd control, but there's no
10
like
seconds to 10 seconds
there's
to
no
go.
real synergy. I feel like
5
between
seconds.
these 4 picks right now. Individually, I think they're all strong, and the Silencer's going to do well to counter any sort of initiation. Like if he ever hears the Centaur War Runner's ult, like he needs to like Silencer should like instantly have his finger like on his ult button. But after that, like I really don't see. There's not a lot of synergy coming. We'll see what happens in this last pick. But right now, I like the Radiance lineup a lot more than I like the Dyers.
Yeah.
The one thing that the Dire definitely does have going for them is their number of stuns.
Dyer's pick.
And throwing the clockwork in there definitely helps that. If they can stack their stuns appropriately, they can certainly allow them to control the tide in a team fight. But both sides definitely have a lot of options. It's going to be interesting to see how they play against each other.
I agree. I think actually the Radiant has the stronger team fight, but with that stun stacking, you're right. I think that the Dire has the better availability if they can time everything right to actually dominate in the laning phase.
Yeah, the Dire should be able to pick off easier, but I think the team fights are going to go this way of the Radiant. I honestly like. I think I like the Radiant setup a little bit better, just because their heroes kind of more individually counter, like aspects of the team. So like their main physical damage dealer is going to be Sven. Well, if Sven doesn't have his BKB up, he's going to get frostbit by the Crystal Maiden, and he won't be able to attack. And that's a huge portion of their damage right there. Plus, they've got a whole bunch of escapes coming their way with the Centaur War Runner, plus the initiation. A lot of good 4-staff users on
30
the
seconds to showtime.
Crystal Maiden, the Zeus, and the Disruptor. So anybody who gets cogged in should be able to get pulled out, assuming they all build 4-staffs, which they should this game. But we'll see how it goes.
Hmm.
So taking a look at the bottom rune, it looks like we're going to have a contest there. We've got the Sven, Lion, and the Vengeful Spirit on the Dire side versus the Crystal Maiden, Disruptor. Oh, and here we go. Looks like we might get a first blood out of the Crystal Maiden. Very well may get away.
Oh,
Nope. So
No.
Mega Tango.
she stopped
That
a tango.
was wise.
Yeah.
That first skill point dispersion was not. It should always be the dagger in almost all
Oh, and
cases.
this is devastating for the Radiant. They lost the Crystal Maiden as well as the Spectre.
I have another Earth Spike up to see if he's able to pull it out. Nope, he's gonna let him go. Yeah, the Spectre right there, dispersion. You're reflecting 10% of damage, but you have 500 HP and 2 armor. It's really not going to do that much. You're better off grabbing the dagger and trying to juke up into high ground because no one has a blink.
Right.
Or you get the 50 damage nuke plus move speed slow, which would have been invaluable right there. Being able to slow that entire team would have allowed not only himself but the Crystal Maiden to possibly walk away. So
I like the
little
option
bit
of that
a skill
dagger.
there.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
little bit of a skill bit there, right there.
So right off the bat, we've got an aggressive tri-lane happening. They warded the full camp. It's going to be interesting to see the Clockwork versus Centaur. Kind of an unfair matchup for the Centaur early. Although I definitely do like a well-farmed Clockwork, his ability to get around the map. They're going to be a highly mobile team.
Zeus Silencer mid. This should favor to Zeus once he gets his bottle. Unfortunately, he's going to have to spend maybe a little extra mana than he wanted to because Silencer is going to last word him, or Curse of the Silence him every chance he can get. But it's really not going to be that beneficial for Silencer because Zeus has spammable spells. He's never really going to lose that much HP because of it. He will now because he doesn't have enough mana because he cast a little bit too early. I think the Zeus, what he should have done was waited until he got cursed before casting spells, but once he gets his bottle, he shouldn't be annoyed by that too much.
And definitely the Silencer just made him waste his clarities.
Yeah, I don't like he he should not have bought the circulet. You really need to get that bottle up on Zeus as fast as you can. And if he hadn't have bought that circulet, you know, whatever minor damage he might have mitigated, he would have had his bottle by now.
Okay, well, while we have a lull, let me just introduce the players. We have Cheese Whiz on Centaur War Runner, Rainbow Dash on Disruptor, P Destroyer 2K15 on Crystal Maiden, Karma is on Spectre, Heart557 on Zeus. On the other side of the board, we have Anarchies on Clockwork, Chilled Wind on Silencer, Sniper Pinoy on Sven, Dwarf SC on Lion, and Status Quo on Vengeful Spirit. Good luck, guys.
This aggressive tri lane by the Dire side is absolutely going to crush the Radiant. Spectre is such a weak laner. The Crystal Maiden and the Disruptor are pretty good, but for more defensive purposes, they're not going to do too well to aggression. They're more of just defensive supports, and when you have so much offense coming between the Lion, the Venge, and the Sven, it's going to be really hard to stop all of them.
Indeed,
Especially when they... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, already the Sven is twice the net worth of the Spectre, as well as in the top lane, the Clockwork is absolutely crushing the Centaur at the moment, so a heavy disadvantage for the Radiant currently.
Yeah, no, they're at a 1500 XP and gold loss right now at 3 minutes, which is significant on all levels. In fact, if you look at the net worth, all of the Radiant is below all of the Dire, with the exception of the Vengeful Spirit, who's playing the hard 5, and the Centaur War Runner is above their Lion, and that's it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I have a feeling that's partially due to the early losses when they were fighting over the runes.
Sure, I mean, I think they could have been okay had they not suffered those 2 deaths, because then they could have at least tried to pull, although their camp is blocked, and I think they tried to pull through, but now the camp won't respawn, so they won't be able to do that unless they find that ward.
That's a great ward, too. Difficult to find when it's in the trees like that.
Well, it's especially interesting to note, on the bottom lane, each one of the characters, the Sven, the Venge, as well as the Lion, all have a kill. So each one has gotten that kill goal.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
So that aggressive tri-lane, oftentimes you end up with a, you're aggressive enough to push them back and deny them the experience, but you don't often see that
Could use a hand.
in conjunction with just overwhelming last hit and kills. So
I mean, but that's the point of an aggressive tri lane. When you run an aggressive tri lanes, like if you don't get kills within the first couple of minutes and you don't shut down that carry enough, or at least disrupt his farm to the point that they're doing now, like you've lost. Like the favor is always on the defensive end of things, but given how dominant they've been, they've more than crushed this lane so far.
Oh, absolutely. It would almost behoove the Radiant to maybe swap things up, do some rotation, maybe put a couple heroes up top to get a kill on the Clockwork. Maybe even send the Centaur down bottom and just sit back and get experience.
Yeah, the problem is they're so under-leveled right now, and the Clockwork is already at level 6. Any sort of rotation you send up there is just going to result in the Clockwork getting a double kill. Although they are to be able to get a return kill on the Lion. Good rotation by the Zeus. Centaur ult, maybe they get the Vengeful Spirit. There's the Vengeful Spirit, there's the nuke down on the Sven. Sven's going to take a lot of damage from that Thunderbolt, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Spectral Dead connects. Will this last pick get him? It does! Really well played there by the Radiant.
Nice dive.
They unfortunately do lose the tower damage. He wasn't able to de-aggro some of the creeps there at the last second, but regardless, that was more than worth it.
One thing to note up in the top lane, the Centaur is starting to come back on the Clockwork a little bit, in so much as his ability to tank the damage. He's got his Tranquil Boots, which allows him to go in, do what he needs to do, and then fall back under tower. And with the Clockwork pushing the lane so heavily, it's definitely going to allow him to stay relevant, get the experience that he needs, and pop in for last hits every now and again.
Honestly, at this point in time, the Clockwork's already hit 7. He's sufficiently farmed. He should be roaming around and trying to make life miserable for this Spectre and for this Zeus. He should farm out this wave right now, head back to the base, and then look to create space.
Right. The longer the Centaur can keep him occupied, really, it's the better for their team.
Indeed, I agree. They've committed a lot of wards to this bot lane.
Yes, they have. There's a lot of vision down there.
Sure is.
I venture to say it's not worth it. So this ward right here, like they use the one here to block, but they already have a ward here. They've got the lion standing here at all times. I don't really see really a purpose for this ward right here. It doesn't serve much purpose. They have a hero in this area at all times. Silence ulti. There comes the stun by the spin. Disruptor goes down. Silence is going to try to taking a lot of damage from Creeping Tower. That was too much of a dive from him. Is he going to get the kill? No, he's not. Zeus still not level 6 yet. Zeus still not level 6 yet, unable to get the kill, and they're going to decode this. Centaur opens in, stunned by the Vengeful Spirit. Centaur's going to charge. The CD catches up on the spin. He's going to get the hook stop on. Let's see. Cursed by the Silencer. Gets the hook stop on, but I don't think he's going to have enough for the double edge to get a kill. Stunned by the Lion. Quick by spin. Here comes the Hex.
Uh-oh.
Quick in their way. Return damage comes, and then the Glaze by Silencer's able to bring him down.
The advantage is still in the Dire's hands.
Yeah. Ooh, double stun by spin. Curse of the Silent. Crystal Maiden's got to cast something or she's gonna die. And she does.
Oh.
Not. Just get it off. And
Oh. That is a tricky thing to know. Understanding Silencer's kit and what you have to do to avoid taking damage is tricky.
I wasn't paying attention to Zeus' cooldowns, but yeah, like I knew he had enough mana. He should have just spammed
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. He can spam the ground. I don't know if he knew that. Like the arc lightning is target point, but you can spam the ground with lightning bolt. And I know he had enough mana to do it.
Spectre's gonna go down to the Silencer.
Yep.
Oh boy, that Silencer's owning the map right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the Radiant team.
They've got heavy rune control.
Oh, go ahead.
With the bottle on the clockwork as well as on the Silencer, they're absolutely controlling the runes, and it's allowing them.
There was a smoke by the Vengeful Spirit right next to creeps, so.
And up top, we've got a fight between the Centaur and the Clockwork. Centaur's pushing a little too hard, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to fight into battery assault. It does so much damage. He's going to try to double edge here, I think, but I don't think it's worth it. Ooh, there's a mishook by the Clockwork there, and he's going to be able to get away. Centaur's simply just too tanky at this point in time. But yeah, this Clockwork needs to come around. They're owning so hard, and they can own even harder. He's not really going to do too much to the Centaur at this point in time. I don't know what he really wants to farm up other than this. He will get more farm by creating space on the map and allowing the spin basically free access to the jungle, while the Silencer maybe goes around to the top jungle. In the meantime, Lion is able to get picked off by the Zeus. And slowly but surely, even though it's a heavy favor still for the Dire side, they've kind of tailed off just a little bit.
Absolutely. The Disruptor is actually in second place as far as gold is concerned, but still the net worth heavily favors the Dire.
On the plus side for Radiant, Spectre is one of those carries who, if he gets into late game, can 1v5. So.
Absolutely.
He has found himself a Midas. I don't know if that was the best idea given how far behind they are and another death going his way.
Oh, we might get a kill on the Clockwork top, and there he goes.
Yep.
Good double edge. I'm sorry, you were saying about Midas. Do you know what time he actually purchased the Midas?
I think it was around like 9 or 10, but it's not so much the fact that he got the Midas to secure late game, which he's definitely going to do with it. It's the fact that he went Midas when they're getting so heavily stomped. Like, he has to go a fighting build. I don't think he can go a farming build this game, just given how hard they're going to just get pressured in. At some point in time in the near future, Radiant or the Dire's going to start pushing in on these towers, and he's not going to have a place to farm. I'm actually surprised they haven't done it already.
Well, and by that same token, the fact that the Dire has not capitalized on their early success might be giving the Spectre the idea.
Looks like they're going to try to go down here and around. There's a rune on the line. Here comes the bottom. Lion setting up. We've got 3 heroes down at the bottom. Benj and Finn still walking around. Lion is still going around, about halfway done on the invis room right now. They've got 3 heroes bursted up. It doesn't look like they're going to have any more rotations. There's the global silence. Let's see if they initiate on this.
That global silence is actually being used, but you've got to kill on the centaur top by the silencer.
I did not see that, but there's some setup on the bottom. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, Disruptor ult, going in on the Sven, glimpse back. Sven's still trying to chase. Spectre going in on the Sven. See, one more right click and he's going to get a huge gold gain. Ooh, stunned by the line. Really well done from Sven right there. Now he's going to get trapped in between the line and the Clockwork. Clockwork, the battery shell, doing a lot of damage to Spectre right now. He's going to bring him down. That was such a clutch stun by the Lion, but unfortunately the Zeus or the Spectre or the Sven did go down. I don't know who killed. Oh, he did get. Oh no, he died. So the I don't know if it was from the battery assault or from the stun itself on the Lion, but the dispersion actually radiated out, and that's what killed the Sven.
Oh, how about that?
I thought he saved him with that. He might have actually killed his teammate with that.
Oh boy.
Anyway. Stun on the Zeus. Here comes the logged in battery assault. Ulti by the Spectre to get in. Let's see if he gets the Lion. He gets the Lion. The Zeus falls down. Buyback by the Zeus is able to get his ultimate off. Now getting chased by
Clockwork. Looks like he may go to. Oh, good swap.
Good swap. Charge.
Not enough. Oh, it is.
Cogs down.
Nice
Running into the Cogs.
Great cogs.
Meanwhile, Silencer gets kinetic field and then glimpse backed.
Oops.
Kind of a misplay there. But they've got 3-on-1 here. He does Blaze, which do a lot of damage. Another ulti from the Disruptor. He's walking around at it. Let's see if the Spectre gets another right click. This could be a huge gold influx for him, but the Zeus gets the kill. Really well played right there, kiting him around just enough. And they get to see the ward with that too. Oh, just slightly outside by the Clockwork there.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering, oh, there goes the Zeus taking that ward down. For a second, I thought they were going to leave that up.
Lion is still down here, trying to see if he can maybe get a pick off with some of the low HP heroes, but it looks like they're all going to walk back. But yeah, the Disruptor, the Spectre, and the Crystal Maiden all super low. Silencer wasn't able to get a kill off there.
Centaur
really well
is TPing bottom.
Looks like they're going to try to chase the Lion here.
Looks like Lion's probably going to get away.
Lion, and the Lion's going to be able to get out of here. Yeah, I really want the Centaur to be able to blink over a what appears to be a pipe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the Centaur could very easily solo the Silencer, the Lion, or the Binge if he were able to get a quick blink. I don't think the pipe or the headrest is going to mitigate a lot of damage. In the meantime, he's going to get gone on by the Silencer and the Spectre and the Clockwork, and he's easily dead. Zeus, ultimate by the Zeus, not quite enough to bring him down. Clockwork cooks in, battery assault. Zeus has got nowhere to go, plus the Blade Mail, and that's one dead hero. In the meanwhile, Sven up top uses ultimate, takes down the top tower, and that's the first tower of the game.
So what do you guys think about this blink dagger on the Sven now?
Really good.
Yeah, as far as chasing and
Ultimate by the CM and brings down the Silencer. Really good kill on her part.
Oh boy, missed it.
But she's gonna get caught out by
Everybody.
yeah, it's unfortunate.
and the,
Oh.
Spectre, why did you TP in? He's gonna mitigate
He wanted him.
damage, but his health pool is just simply not high enough to do too much with it. And I think he realizes the error of his ways. Although if he gets this room, but nope.
Oh.
And all the Dire needs to do is turn around and get that Disruptor.
He went the max dispersion build, which is fine. They were getting wrecked. He needed the damage mitigation, but trying to go in on 3 heroes when your HP pool is still around 800 or 900, yeah, you're going to mitigate, 22% of that to all the heroes around you, but your HP is only at 800, so you're only really mitigating 200 damage in an AoE. Clockwork scouting for the kill. Honestly, he doesn't have enough mana. All he can do is hookshot. The Lion gets caught out. Curse the silence by that really good cog right there to bring him back into the Silencer. That was really well played by Clockwork right there. Using his cogs to, instead of trapping in the Disruptor, to push him back into the Silencer so he can right click him down. looks like they want to take this tier 1 tower, but they're gonna get. Looks like the Radiant want to defend it. It's a Hex on the Crystal Maiden, plus Curse to the Silence, plus a couple right clicks. Really nice
Whoa.
cog. This is 3-man cog. Silence. Battery's still doing a lot of work, and they're even gonna bring the Clockwork down. They bring the Clockwork down. Here comes the double edge. Then that's on the Silencer, but the CM dies. Spectre meanwhile is gonna be chasing down the line, but it's gonna be instantly gone on by the spin with the blink. There's one nice stun by there. Looks like the hook stop is gonna be able to connect. Ulti by the Centaur is able to bring down the spin. Meanwhile, they're chasing the line. Good kinetic field. Thunderstrike in it. That's gonna be enough to bring down that hero. Really well played by the Radiant right there.
Yeah, that was a huge fight for the Radiant. Sure, you lost the Crystal Maiden and you lost the Zeus, but to be able to knock out the Clockwork, Silencer, Sven, as well as the Lion, that's a pretty heavy swing in their favor.
Yeah, that was about a 2k gold swing.
And especially at this point in the game, you know, under 20 minutes, 2,000 gold is nothing to laugh at. Sure, I mean, they are definitely down. What are we looking at? Just shy of, or a little over 4,000.
Yep, but they're a little down about, I would say after that team fight, it's going to go up a little bit. They're probably up to 3,000, but they still have all the tier 1s to catch up with Golden, so those should fall at some time.
That's money in the bank at this point in the game.
Midas is up on the Spectre. Go my child, use your Midas.
Need a target.
Be efficient. Not that one, go to the large camp. Well, don't farm it.
Yeah, I'd really like to see a better utilization of the Midas.
You
It's off cooldown.
Okay, good. Nope. And now they're gonna find the Silencer. That's 3 person. That's not what the Silencer's gonna find. Hook stop, right click, get ahead. But he's able to pick off the Spectre. And now, Spectre, oh, he did get the Midas off in time.
He did,
right?
yes.
I didn't see that. But good on him for making sure he got that off. I was gonna say that's now another 50 seconds for him not using the Midas, but he was able to get it off. And by the time he gets back up, he'll have another Midas again. So.
One thing to note is, despite the heavily favoring of the Dire, the Spectre with that Midas is actually coming back as far as the gold per minute that she's able to get. She is sitting at 2nd place, not too terribly far behind the Silencer, who is the undisputed leader as far as kills in this game.
Sure.
So
I honestly think
definitely starting to pay off for the Spectre.
Yeah, he is.
Close.
He's able to catch up a little bit. I'm honestly going to put a lot of that blame on the Clockwork for staying in top lane too far, where if he had rotated down, I think they could have gotten another kill or 2 when he hit 6 right away to get that tower down, which would have allowed easier access. When we see him ult and Disruptor ult, they're able to bring down the Clockwork insanely fast. Here comes the Silence by the Silencer. In the meanwhile, the Lion's getting really, really low, getting chased by the Centaur. He's able to blink out. Really well played there. Ult by the Zeus, he's getting right click down, but then glimpse back. I don't think he should have glimpsed him back there. He could have gotten the kill. It looks like they're going to get all out, but the spin's going to go on the Centaur War Runner. One more right click should bring him down. And, ooh,
blink.
Blink out. Good dodge there by the Centaur War Runner.
And that is another big fight for the Radiant. We're getting towards parity on experience. And another big swing in the favor of the Radiant.
Nope, Curse to the Silencer.
Concerned.
I think the Silencer ulting is coming a little bit too soon or a little bit too late. He'd already dropped off the Disruptor ult and the CM. No one was in the range of her ult when he used his Silence. Oop, and there goes a double stun on the Sven. But that's just simply too much damage coming in from the Spectre right now. The Curse of the Silence able to bring him down. He's going to get right clicked by the Spectre and the Disruptor a little bit. CM crystallizes the Silencer, but they should be getting out right now. Curse of the Silence on the Silencer. From the Silencer. Ooh, missed cog, but it looks like the Stormhammer is going to bring down the Disruptor. In the meanwhile, Silencer dies. Hold by the Centaur War Runner, but to no avail. They're not able to catch anybody, and they weren't able to get the Disruptor out in time before he died.
One thing to note from that fight is we reached parity in experience, and it is now officially in the favor of the Radiant after these fights. So Radiant is definitely not necessarily starting to snowball, but we are seeing movement in their favor when it comes to that. And if we allow the Spectre to get going, it's not going to go terribly well for the Dire. Net worth also inching towards the Radiant, still in the favor of the Dire, but they are getting there.
Yeah. shot by the Clockwork going on the Zeus and fall.
One thing I'd probably really like to see from the Radiant, and actually the Crystal Maiden just did that, is a little more aggressive warding. And getting that ward across the river there definitely allows them to see the Dire coming towards them versus this ward they have in the jungle here, which is more of a, hey, they're already here, get back.
And it looks like the Radiant maybe want to go on this a little bit. They've got the CM that's invis there. They're coming up behind the Silencer. The Silencer should see this, and there's an ulti by CM. They're silenced by the Silencer. Clockwork clogs into Disruptor. He's able to get the battery cell fall on the Disruptor. Disruptor should fall here pretty soon, but in the meantime, Silencer's going to get clogged in, but he can overset himself out. Swap in by the Vengeful Spear. Double hand stomp with the Stormhammer, then followed up by the Vengeful Spear stomp. This is going to be 3-4 heroes down for the Radiant side.
Oh, that is definitely unfortunate. That Lion coming in from behind and dropping down the Earth Spike definitely screwed up that fight for the Radiant.
The Radiant, they bunch up a little too much. That's the 3rd or 4th time that Stormhammer has caught 2 or 3 heroes.
Top tower's getting beat down.
Yeah, that Earth Spike, the Crystal Maiden actually was extremely close to dropping her ult right there at the edge of the battle, which would have been devastating. But the Earth Spike, coincidentally, despite her invisibility, Earth Spike just happened to land right on top of her.
I would not stand there. There's a blink dagger on that spin. I would be very wary if I were there.
Yeah, that's scary.
And it looks like the Dire are going to back up just a little bit, farm out the Radiant jungle. Oh, and
Ooh.
by Clockwork, but he just missed it.
That was scary.
Zeus continuing to play with fire, but decides to back off.
And one thing to note, definitely after these last couple fights.
Oh, there's a good pick off. Vince just finding herself a little bit out of the way right there. It looked like she wanted to go place a ward on the high ground and simply just got caught out. I'm all for aggressive warding, but when you don't have anybody on the map, you gotta be really wary.
The experience in gold has officially swung back in favor of the Dire, and it's looking dire for the Radiant with that heavy of a swing. We were looking at almost a 1,500 experience surplus for the Radiant, and now we're looking at a deficit of near 7,000.
I would like to see the Svens focus a little bit more on farming. At this point in time, I think they've kind of reached somewhat of a stalemate. He really needs a BKB for these team fights now, and he's working on it. So I would like to see the Sven. They've still got their tier 1 ups on the mid and on the safe lane, so their jungle shouldn't be in any. You shouldn't be worried about anybody being into their jungle. I would really like to see him go farm out top lane and then rotate into the jungle to finish his BKB, and then they can start team fighting again. In the meanwhile, they've got a ult on the Silencer, and then but they get swapped out by the Vengeful Spirit. There's an ult by the Spectre, going to dive on this a little bit. Ult by the Zeus is able to bring the Silencer. Vengeful Spirit's going to fall down there to the charge. In the meanwhile, they're now charging on the Clockwork. He puts up his cock, and he gets cocked in by the kinetic field. Really nice hook to the Ancients right there.
Wow.
They bring him down, but Spectre's able to run through it. Here comes the stop. Double Edge is able to bring him down. In the meantime, then they find the double Stormhammer is able to bring down the Spectre. Here comes some right click with the Storm and the good lord, he's not even in this game. The Disruptor and the CM are in this game. I get confused by Lightning. I just think it's Storm. The CM and the Disruptor are there to bring him down.
With all 5 heroes down, I'd like to see a collective effort from the Radiant to go and farm that Ancient stack.
Couldn't hang on to that tower.
We've got Ancient stacked on Dire and Radiant side, and with all 5 heroes down, they can get a definite boost to experience and gold.
Problem is they really don't have anybody who can farm it.
We've got pings out from the Spectre on it. It looks like they might be going up. Spectre's not getting his way.
Honestly, the Centaur's the only one who can really farm it. They'd be better off just trying to push down this tier 2 and try to get some damage on it.
Yeah, I think that's their plan.
I mean, even the Spectre couldn't really tank those ancient stacks, and it's really only a double stack. It's the influx of gold is not, it's good, but it's not game breaking by any means. I think they did the right thing by trying to push up the tier 2 a little bit, maybe rotating it up to the tier 1, but with everybody back up on the Radiant side or the Dire side, I think they should just go back into the farming mode.
Yeah, that is definitely something that I wish that they would do a little bit more. We're not seeing a really good capitalization of, you know, they get these team wipes or they get these team fights in their favor. You see a little bit of an upswing in net worth, you see a little bit of an upswing in experience, but you don't actually see the
rocket.
pushing.
Let's see if the Clockwork wants to try to hook in on this. Blind hook, he catches him out. Great hook, he saw
Wow.
right there. Battery assault, left blade mail. He's going to do a lot of damage right now. It looks like the Spectre's able to get out, and he will survive.
Great dagger.
His life right there. But it looks like now the Clockwork is finding himself out of position. Global Silence comes in, Wave of Terror followed by it. Glaze the Wisdom coming in, doing so much damage to Zeus right now. Zeus is able to get up. Here comes the Stormhammer by the Sven. Just destroying the Crystal Maiden. Glaives coming down, killing the Disruptor. Good blink, not needed. The Sven got out alive, and the Centaur is going to choose to back out, but
We're looking at 44 stolen intelligence on the silencer at 30 minutes into the game. That has got to be devastating to the Radiant.
I think once the Spectre got out, I think that was the Radiant skew. I understand wanting to go for the Clockwork there, but having everyone else behind them without the ability to use Haunts from Spectre, really devastating. And it looks like they're going to take down this tier 2 tower.
There goes Radiant's bottom tower.
If I were the Radiant or the Dire, I would take Roshan right now. They've got all the waves pushed up. They've got free access. All their heroes are here. They've got the minus armor with Binge, who's got a medallion and Wave of Terror. There's no reason they shouldn't be taking Roshan right now.
The Dire might want to mine the top tower.
Sven getting 1,000 gold influx there from taking that stack.
Yep.
For some reason, the Radiant's just not farming the stack they've set up.
They
Here we
can't.
go
They
with the
just
Spectre.
don't have the. I mean, look at how fast Spin cleared it compared to how fast the Spectre's clearing it. It's not a comparable case.
Sure, the Sven doesn't even really have any damage items yet, and that's the scariest part. All we've really got as far as damage is concerned is Mask of Madness and the damage from the stats on the Black King bar.
Yep.
But,
Radiant's top towers.
you know, and with just a casual bracer, we're looking at effectively a Sven that still has plenty of room to grow.
Initiation in by the Clockwork. Doesn't quite hit. We get caught out by the Centaur. There's now the ultimate. Here comes the Lion, but he just walks into the disruption roll. I don't think he realized quite what he did there. He came in to try to help his buddy, but he ended up walking into the disruptor ult and silence and stuff. And meanwhile, Crystal Maiden falls, and Disruptor's going to keep going. Kinetic field down, but doesn't catch up to silence for silence. He's going to force that himself up and try to right click. Meanwhile, he gets Centaur stomped. Stunned for a little bit. Global Silence comes out. He's still going to go in on the silencer. That is one tinky here to want to keep going on. Centaur blinks out, is able to get away. Vengeful Spirit, Wave of Terror, not able to hit. And then meanwhile, Sven keeps farming. I expect the next item to be a Daedalus, as it should be. And then either a Heart or an AC. And he will be 6 slotted. Given the lineup on the Radiant side, I think an AC would be a better item. But we'll see what he goes. He needs to get this Daedalus first, though. And the Radiant, I think, should be smoking up and trying to find pickoffs. The Dire have spread themselves out pretty thin. They are moving as 5, but I'd like to see them smoke up just in case, because they are getting spotted out right now. And the Dire still haven't decided to move into it. They find the silencer. They don't get him quite. Miss stop. The charge. He's going to try to shoot up. And he's going to go fall. well the Silencer has played this game. He has gotten caught out quite a bit.
Game is hard.
Game is hard. Yeah, he has the most deaths, second most deaths in the game. Third most. CM's died 9 times. Manta pick up by the Spectre. I really like this way. If he can now not be in team fights, and the instant the Silencer ults, he can Manta out and then ult and join them if that's the case, and then he can focus on this split pushing like he's doing right now. So I like that item on the Spectre. Looks like the Radiant are going to find the vintage here. Here comes the Charge by the Centaur. They're able to catch up on the bench, slowed, ultimate by the Zeus, and they're able to bring her down. Sven looks like he may want to try to go on this. The clock right there, he's able to clock in, gets the battery salt, late mail. Doesn't have cogs up.
A missed opportunity by the bot.
Oh, but he keeps the Sven from getting in, but Sven's just gonna ult. He just absolutely destroyed Crystal Maiden in the Zeus.
That was a pretty good blink from the Centaur there, getting out of that fight.
Once the Crystal Maiden sees the Sven with the BKB and all red and stuff like that, ult should stop immediately. At that point, all you're doing is staring death in the eyes, and death does not lose. But still no Roshan. I think that's a bit of a misplay by both teams. I give the Radiant a little bit of a pass because they don't really have a good Roche lineup, and it's really easy to get spotted out by the Clockwork and the Vengeful Spirit. But for the Dire to not even attempt it at this point is actually quite a bit of a misplay.
And Spectre is doing a hell of a job split pushing at the moment. That Manta pickup definitely, while it's great for removing the silence and jumping into the fight, definitely is allowing her to push lanes and towers fast.
Sure. Looks like the Centaur's going to get caught out, but he blinks away. Able to get to safety. Oh, but it looks like he wants to go back in on this. He's got a haste rune. Gonna get caught up by the Silencer and the Spectre. Ulti by the Spectre. Hops back in. He's gonna find the Silencer. This is a great pick off of them right now. They're gonna get Global Silence. A little bit of a waste right there, to be honest with you. Clockwork Clogs trying to keep zoning out the Centaur, and is able to do that. Really nice Clogs right there to zone out and protect the Lion. But they got the kill they were looking for. Silencer is just playing way too aggressive this game. His damage output is really good, but he's still a squishy hero.
And we've got the Spectre going for a Skull Basher. Kind of an interesting pickup. With her current health pool, I'd really like to see her get something more along the lines of something that's gonna get her health pool up there a little bit. Even like a Sange, which would be great to go towards a Heaven's Halberd. While it kind of mitigates the amount of damage that she can deal with her dispersion, it would allow her to stop the right clicks of Sven. And that's 90% of their damage right there.
Stop by the Centaur. Able to go on the line. Zeus ult, and he's able to bring him down. Clockwork. The Cogs. Magic Missile bringing him down and right click down by the Vengeful Spirit. Yeah, I honestly think if the Spectre wants to do that, I don't know if Sange is the item. I think you've kind of gotten away from mid-game items, and you don't really want to build an SNY and a Manta style. Those speed boosts don't stack together, so there's no real benefit there other than tankiness. And if you're really going to go for stats and tankiness, at this point you really should just go for a Heart or an Eye of Scotty. I think those are the two items you should be looking for. An Abyssal is a luxury item after you get that health full up.
Sure, I don't necessarily think Sange and Yasha would be the right thing to do. The only reason I think that a Halberd might be a good item is because at this point she's really one of the only heroes that's going to be capable of doing it. Centaur already does have one up, which is nice, so I had not noticed that.
Yeah, you don't need more than one. The only thing you're trying to get all down to the spin. There's a glimpse by the clock.
Oh, and Disruptor glimpses him out. That's unfortunate. That could have been a kill.
The record by Finn, kinetic field. Is he going to BKB to get through there? No, he's not. Looks like the Silencer's going to force step. Really good force step right there to keep chasing down. And the Clogs by the Clockwork able to clog him in. Here comes the Power Cogs and gets in, and that's one dead hero.
Yeah, that Aghanim Scepter upgrade on the Clockwork is genuinely amazing.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Clockwork, and his ult is amazing. But once you get that Aghanim Scepter, it's... I mean, the global, not global, but the huge range of it out to 3,000 and being
Okay.
able to cast it every 12 seconds. That's amazing.
All right, so that's the hard-on spin. I think he should have gone dataless first, but I'm not upset with it. He now can't die. They should take this tower and they should go to Roche.
Radiant's mid tower's
All
coming.
right, looks like the Spectre's going to try to wrap around. I really don't know what they expect to do here without the Centaur here.
This
Really
is
not a
not
whole
gonna-
lot they can do. Oh, looks like they're going to go on the silence without great kickoff right there. Really, really key. They're going to lose their tier 2, but definitely worth it.
Mid tower.
Now they need to get out. They cannot fight the spin here. CM ulti, but she's going to get bursted down.
That was a really good hex by the Lion.
Disruptor roll. Disruptor was able to catch out the spin, and they're going to come to the right push. Really well played right there.
That was a fantastic fight by the Radiant.
I honestly can't believe they were able to get that out right there, but they did. Killing off the silencer first is definitely the key pick off. Silencers just, even at half health, was just being way too greedy. Go into the jungle, go farm out. Don't stand back and get caught out like that.
One thing to note, guys, the net worth has swung in favor of the Radiant at this point. That fight was gigantic. I think we all thought that the Dire was going to end up, on the winning side of that fight there, but here we are. The Dire is in a position where high ground may be broken.
Yep, not having the global silence really hurt them there, and the spin's still down for another 30 seconds.
He does have buyback, but
He
then
does?
it just be him and Bench.
Well, the silencer and the line are both up in the next 5 seconds, so they might try to defend this. The problem is they just don't have the right clicks aren't doing a lot to bring down this tower.
I really think the Radiant should get back and not say they're welcome.
Spirit Magic Missile. Back, hooked by the Clockwork. Back comes the battery salt. Power cogs are up, and now he's just going to get right clicked down by the Spectre, who does a shit ton of damage right now. With 52 stolen intelligence, Blades of Wisdoms. I wasn't able to catch it, but it looks like he's doing about what looks like 200 pure damage on top of 227 right click. And it looks like they're going to go on the Spectre, but that's just the illusions.
The scariest part about the Silencer is the fact that he is, we're looking at only 3 items plus his boots, so there's still room to grow.
The key item here, though, for the rest of the team Bison Wall, I'm going to try to watch as close as I can, is the Ag Scepter on the Disruptor. If he's able to get his kinetic field off, or his static storm off on spin before he pops his BKB, it's going to be game breaking. In the meanwhile, Crystal Maid's going to get caught out. First in the silent, right click, spin to bring her down. Oh, and then the Clockwork is able to initiate on the Disruptor. Here comes the static storm. Back is not Radiant being a little sloppy and getting caught out, and the Dire, with this advantage, should Roshan. If I say it enough, it'll happen.
It's possible. But one thing to notice, that Disruptor sitting there all by himself didn't do a whole lot of damage with his right clicks, but that Clockwork with a health pool a little bit over 2,000 was dropped down below 700 just from the ult. So if he can get a good kinetic field, get a good ult, that absolutely, coupled with the Ag Scepter, is going to devastate the Dire.
Looks like they're going to try to breach high ground. They do have all their heroes up. Spin's ult was popped. Oh, it looks like they're going to go in on this. Global Silence is able to connect. Clockwork with the claws trying to zone him out. Spin with the BKB. Unfortunately, his ult's down now, but he still does a lot of damage. Here comes the Ultra Zeus. Able to bring down the Spectre. Dishing out a lot of damage, but still not worth it. Zeus Finger of Death on the Zeus, and that's able to bring him down. And
That
it
is
looks
a
like the
team
Spectre
wipe, and
DC.
yeah.
I don't think they should have got on that there. I mean, they could have had the CM and the Crystal Maiden ult. There's no reason to go on that right there. Absolutely none whatsoever.
That's a 2,800 gold swing.
Your tower wasn't even in danger of dying. It was still at half health. You could have easily stayed back, drop some lightning bolts, drop some arc lightning, tried to zone out as much as you can. Make sure you don't get initiated on by the Clockwork. But yeah, to try to go in on that with only 3 heroes and all of the Dire team up, unfortunately I don't think was a very good decision. All right, and the Spectre's building a heart, which is what I want to see, but he's disconnected.
And at 41 minutes in the game, despite the way that this has been swinging, wow, we're looking at 57,370 net worth on the Radiant, 57,240 for the Dire. So, you know, the way it's been going all game, despite that, it is still fairly even. So really, at this point, one team wipe is going to be all it needs.
If I mean, at this point, it's honestly down to initiation. For the Radiant, the key targets is to try to burst down the silencer first, and to see if you can get Disruptor's ult on Sven before he pops his BKB.
Absolutely.
If that happens, then it's a Radiant team wipe. On the flip side of things, if the Clockwork is able to initiate on a key target, like the Disruptor, and then followed up by Silencer Global, there's really not much the Radiant can do to stop that. So we shall see.
Alright, carry on.
But with 3 heroes dead, they should be able to take this tower fairly easily. Hook in by the Clockwork, zoning Cogs, but she's able to get swapped back, and now oh, but the ult by the Disruptor though. Ult by the Disruptor is able to kill the Clockwork, but
yeah, well, I don't know that the Disruptor's really going to be able to defend this high ground by himself, but it seems like Radiant or Dire's being a little sheepish.
They should be able to defend it. I wish the Sven had gone Daedalus. I think he would have been able to push down this tower by now if he had a little extra damage on him. Magic Missile is able to connect guys this way with Terra. Kinetic Field though is able to just go in just in time to save him, but it looks like this tower is going to fall.
Tower's coming apart.
We're probably looking at racks going down. Until the Disruptor comes up and until the Centaur comes up, they just don't have anything they can do to stop the Sven.
Looks like they're gonna take, and looks like they're gonna back out. I think they could have maybe done some more damage to the melee barracks, but I'm not opposed to it. Now go Roshan.
Absolutely.
Go
you've been
Roshan.
You said it, so they're going to push now.
I know.
If we think it hard enough, they may do it. But Sven's going
no
mid. Looks
reason
like he's
for them
heading
to-
into the jungle.
There's no reason for them to not go to Roshan right now. But okay. Maybe they don't know it exists. I don't know.
Radiant's bottom tower's seen better days.
I believe the Dire is trying to play at a handicap. That's the only thing that I can attribute this to.
Very
Hearts on
sportsmanlike.
Centaur, so that'll be helpful. I've been waiting to try to see if he gets off his Heaven's Halberd, but it looks like he gets it off a little bit too early. Sven's AKB is now down to 7 seconds, so it's not quite at 5 yet, but I think now what he should be waiting for, with the exception of getting caught in the Disruptor's ult, he should wait for the BKB to expire and then use his Halberd.
And we see a Reaver on the Spectre. I can only assume that the Spectre's going for a heart right now.
Yep. It's a good item.
No, absolutely. Spectre absolutely needs to get that health pool going because Dispersion, I mean, with the amount of damage that's coming out from the Sven, if Spectre can stay up, we're looking at a more significant Blade Mail than Blade Mail.
Well, I mean, Blade Mail's 100%. Dispersion's only 22. So
But Dispersion lasts from 4
Blade Mail is
points
much
to no
better.
points.
What's that?
Dispersion lasts the entire time she's alive. Blade Mail is, inactive. It will start and it will stop.
Well, if you're getting right-clicked by a Sven who's got a Daedalus and a heart,
No, absolutely.
you're gonna die in a Blade Mail time anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
It's more for the AoE effect, and it disperses all damage out. But you know, unless he gets caught, I mean, unless they just decide to clunk in together, which they shouldn't be doing, they should actually be spread out as far as they can on the Radiant, on the Dire side. Like that's the other thing. The Radiant want everybody in as close to the team fights as they can together to maximize the potential from Arc Lightning, from CM's ult, from Disruptor, from Charge, and for the dispersion to spread out as far as possible. And on the flip side of things, the Dire want everything as spread out as far as possible, with the exception of Cleave. But everything else they want to zone out. They want to pick off targets with the Clockwork. They want to have them zoned out so that when Silencer uses Global, there's no way for them to come back into things. They want to be able to lock down one target with Magic Missile and Hex. So they want to stay out, and it's more from a defensive purpose. They don't really, because they don't want to get caught by all of the things that the Radiant have. So it'll be interesting to see how the team fights diverge. Dire should do as much as they possibly can to make sure they spread out as much as possible. So it's really on them more than it is on the Radiant, because the Radiant don't really have a way to force them into tight corners, whereas the Dire team, the only thing they can do is, you know, if they fall lapse into what's going on and end up collapsing in on a single target, they can really hose themselves with that. $450. Yeah. He can do it. 450 plus the 375, that's 825, correct? And then plus another 450 is 1250, but he's got arcane boots, so he gets another 135. So if he uses nothing but his ult, refresher, arcane boots, bottle, he can do it both.
All right, carry on.
Well, don't tell him, Tugs.
Well, they were there. I wanted to be right. They're all like, he can't do it. Bullshit. He can do it.
I feel we've got some impartial casting. Let's remake. Let's
Yeah.
45-minute in remake.
This is not bias. This is just pure mechanics. He gets an extra 200 mana from Arcane. Global Silence coming out when they're able to burst down that Zeus right there before he even has a chance to do any damage. Wouldn't have mattered anyway with the Blade Mail. All he would have done was killed himself. But it looks like the Centaur wants to go on this Clockwork right here, but he wisely decides to back off. And Clockwork is able to zip in and on the Crystal Maiden. This is exactly what I was talking about. Them being able to spread out so they can get these pickups like this. In the meantime, Sven's going to go in, get a couple right clicks off. There's a Sven, there comes ult. He gets falls down immediately. Here comes the charge by the Centaur, but he comes down and the Spectre falls immediately. Right click slowed by the Rod of Atos. Just getting absolutely wiped. Go Roshan. Roshan. It's right there.
And
It's
push.
right there.
No, just push.
What? Silencer making this as difficult as possible? Yes! Oh, sweet mother of mercy. First Roshan, 46 minutes into the match.
I had my fingers crossed. I was hoping that they would do it, and I want you to know, despite everything that you were saying, trying to get them to do it, it was all me. Let's mark that down in our ledger.
Alright, this should go to the Silencer. Alright, Daedalus is finished. Alright, and then they honestly should just go pick a lane and push. But yeah, the Clockwork played really well there. Able to get off basically two pickoffs and keep everyone out. Even when the Disruptor ulted, it really only caught the Clockwork, who was able to use Blade Mail and, you know, did a lot of damage. Not that it mattered after the Sven blinked and BKB'd. He basically annihilated the CM and the Disruptor in about 2 hits.
Dire's top tower.
Oh, that was rude to kill the coiling blade there. Oh, Sven, you're a jerk.
Lots of pings coming out.
Dire's top tower's getting beat down.
This will be... The thing is, despite how far behind they are, and that they don't have a... they have to fight into an Aegis. If they were able to, like, somehow get off a Disruptor ult with 3 heroes inside, with a kinetic field, and then 2 Zeus ults, and then a CM ult, like, they can team wipe. Like, the ability to team wipe is still very much alive. It's gonna
Absolutely.
it's gonna take some really bad positioning on the Dire team for it to happen. But this game's not over.
No, absolutely. One good ult from the disruptor, and it's gonna swing heavily in favor. I mean, that's a hard ult to fight through, and really, you get a kinetic field, you get the ult down from the disruptor, and all the Radiant has to do is sit back, let the Centaur get in the middle of that stomp, double edge. You're gonna get the return damage as well as dispersion. I mean,
I think as long as they catch, they have to catch the silencer and the Sven. They somehow have to catch both those heroes. That's the only way it'll work. Because if they don't, then if they catch the silencer, then Sven's just gonna activate his BKB and kill all 4 of them in like 5 hits. And if they catch the Sven, then the silencer's gonna ulti, and that's gonna cancel the CM. It's gonna cancel the CM ult. It's not gonna let Zeus double ult in the Centaur. He'll blink in, but he won't be able to stomp. So they really need to make sure that they catch both those heroes, or to pick off. If they were to smoke right now, I think that would be a good idea as well.
one thing to note as well, it appears that the Spectre is just now going for her BKB. We've got the Sven with only a 6-second BKB. If we're getting to the point where at this late in the game, Spectre is really becoming relevant and starts out with a 10-second BKB, that's really going to be devastating for the Dire. Sven's only going to be immune for 6 seconds on his next, and then every time after that, it's going to be 5. So Spectre's going to be able to get into the fight, not be affected, and do what she needs to do a lot longer.
Yep.
It was kind of risky, and it always is, but with a hero like Spectre who comes online so late, I really like... Personally, I don't buy BKB. And that's
You're a monster.
I am a monster. I buy BKB so very rarely. I usually rely on positioning myself to just not be there, but it's a risky move in a fight like this with heroes like with that much lockdown. You've got the silencer, you've got the stun from the Venge, you've got the stun from the Sven, you've got the stun from the Lion. For Spectre to go this long without it, it's really going to have a heavy impact if she can get it.
Oh, and looks like their Dire are going to want to push on into the bottom lane.
They need to spend their Aegis.
They still have a couple minutes left on it, I believe.
I think it's only about a minute left.
Clockwork is going to continue to get vision, just waiting to see if he can pick off a target. Here comes a swap by the Vengeful Spirit. Here it comes. Hexes in online. Multi by the defense. Here he goes. Centaur's already down. Global Silence is up. Disruptor caught in the middle of it, and he's going down. Sven comes up, blinks in. 2 hits on the Crystal Maiden. 3 hits on the Crystal Maiden, my mistake. And it looks like they're going to take this pretty easily.
And it's unfortunate to see the Spectre completely stayed out of that fight.
If he had ultied right there, he would have been able to stop the Sven ult, which, the Crystal Maiden doesn't die. I don't really know what else they can do there.
It's okay, he's biding his time.
Yeah,
The Spectre will do it.
At this point, the only real thing the Disruptor should do is get that tower, but really not a great trade.
As soon as the swap happened, it followed up by the Global Silence. Like, that was whoever got the initiation off on this game was going to win it.
We've got no buybacks on the Radiant, so...
I mean, they just had so much good initiation. I mean, they could have led with the Silencer ult, they could have led with the Clockwork Hook, they could have led with the Vengeful Swap. The problem is you just don't know from the Radiant side where it's coming from. Whereas if you're Dire, you know it's coming one of 2 ways. It's coming from a Centaur ult or from a Disruptor ult, and there's a figure of death.
Called out from the Crystal Maiden.
And then there's
Well, that's going to be game, guys. So well played to all the players here. Any final thoughts? Let's start with Tugs.
Why do I have to go first?
Okay, let's start with Pretty Bunnies then.
I for one think, it was a real nail-biter of a game. I mean, it swung back and forth, despite the fact that, you had the Dire carried this start to finish, but the Radiant hung in there, and even swung it in their favor a few times. And just like Tugs was saying, it really, towards the end there, was just a matter of who initiated best and positioning. Things gone a little bit different for the Radiant, and they could have got a good team late and pushed it. So, real good game as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, I have to agree. Tugs, anything you'd like to say to the audience?
Good game, guys. I will just offer a couple points of insight. I think the Clockwork, once he hit 6, should have run down earlier, and I think they could have, honestly, zoned out the Spectre and stopped her even harder. The the Radiant side, I think they should have smoked a little bit more. I think if they could have gotten a couple key ganks off and moved as 5 instead of trying to wait for the initiation from the Dire side, just given how many forms of initiation that the Dire has, I think that was kind of, they should have been more proactive, especially with the heroes that they have. They have a really strong ganking and kind of positioning control lineup, and then going back full circle, if the Dire had just done Roshan like I told them to, this game would have been over like 20 minutes ago. So those are my Tugs tips of the day.
Right on.
I have a new closing tagline. Sweet.
There you go. Hey, that could be a new segment.
There we go.
Tip of the day.
Awesome.
There we go.
Well, thanks, guys. I do appreciate you joining me for the cast, and thanks to all of our viewers. If you guys would like to join in on one of these community nights, feel free to check out the WeLikeDota.reddit.com. We post details there. And, yeah, well played to all the guys in the game. Thanks for joining us for the community night. We will see you all for the next one.